What is the worst or weirdest thing that your mother-in-law has ever done to you?
Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Gossip Without Borders, a girl who is obsessed with tea across the world. Please take a second to like the video and subscribe, I really appreciate it. Today's video is about mother-in-laws, or should we say monster-in-laws, who are toxic. There are some tips to cope and people sharing their experiences. So let's get to it and enjoy the clips, and I'll share my thoughts at the end.
Your in-laws driving you crazy? Here are a few tips. First one is you don't confront the in-laws. The rule of thumb is that each partner addresses their own parents, their own family. If you confront your in-laws, you're just going to be the bad guy, right? And you're going to create drama. You don't want to do that. Second is set clear boundaries. You and your partner need to decide for each other, and if you have kids, as a family, what the boundaries are. So for example, if you don't like people just dropping by your house or your apartment, then you need to each be responsible for talking to your own family saying, hey, we both don't want this, so please respect this boundary. If you guys come to the table focusing on the relationship, putting your union first, that will be your guide and you will be all set.
If your mother-in-law is disrespectful to you, it is your man's job to fix that situation. Yeah. That's not up to you. She's not going to respect you if she feels like her son doesn't even respect you enough to take care of the situation, to defend you.
It's hard enough for a man to change his mom's mind. You're not going to come in with any type of logic that she's going to listen to. You married your girl. That's your wife now. If she wasn't in that relationship with you, she wouldn't be dealing with it.
Yeah.
She would have been able to just walk away from it and not care. In a way, you put her in that position.
You did put her in that position. It's your responsibility to fix it.
Story time about my narcissistic mother-in-law and our wedding. So to this day, my mother-in-law complains that she was treated like garbage at our wedding. Her reasoning being that she didn't get enough attention paid to her and I didn't speak to her enough at the reception. And weddings are stressful as it is for a bride and they're super busy. But my wedding day wasn't easy. I was woken up by my mom banging on my door, telling me that my sister there was something really wrong with her, and she has really severe cerebral palsy. So I went in there. My sister wasn't breathing at all. She was completely unresponsive, and I literally thought she was dead. Luckily, she came back to right when we were about to start CPR, but I was immediately rushed off to do my hair and my makeup and photos because we were behind. And then again at the reception, my sister got really sick. And so I wasn't even at my whole reception because I was worried about her and checking up on her. And my mother-in-law doesn't care about that. She just cares that she was wronged.
If you have ever been personally victimized by a monster-in-law, please stick around for this lovely story time. So let's fast forward to when I am about 8 months pregnant with my third child, and I have 2 other toddlers, a 3-year-old and a 4-year-old at home. I am primarily the stay-at-home parent to these children and also very pregnant. Monster-in-law buys her dream home, which I'm happy for her. That is wonderful, and I'm so glad that she gets to do that. However, she takes on the belief that I should put my pregnant body and my 2 toddlers into a car every Sunday to come and gasp at her beautiful dream home and tell her for hours how wonderful it is. And I can't believe that I have been invited to this amazing condo where I can sit there and look at the water after struggling with my big belly to put 2 toddlers in the car so that I could drive to come be upon her presence. And yeah, I just didn't want to go anywhere when I'm 8 months pregnant in the summer and it's 100 degrees outside. Like, Paul Walker could come back from the dead and invite me on a date. I'm not going. But this was an atrocity. How dare I not to be overly excited and just want to go there every day until I went into labor and my water broke and I sat there through my contractions until the very last minute just so I could see her beautiful home. So she would do things like text her son complaining about me and encouraging him to invite some of his guy friends over while I'm pregnant to her house so that him and his guy friends could have a sleepover at her house. Mind you, he's nearly 30 years old with a pregnant wife and 2 other toddlers, but she is suggesting that he have a sleepover at her house with his friends. Like I honestly feel like I wish I was making this stuff up because it would be more normal then. But all I would hear about for the next year is how we didn't then put the newborn and 2 toddlers in the car and come see them every weekend. I wouldn't do that for my best friend. I wouldn't do that for my best friend. And 2, how if we needed help with the toddlers and we asked them, they didn't want to babysit. They weren't babysitters, and that's what they weren't there for. And no joke, they will still be upset about having to babysit their own grandchildren to this day. If you were to ask them about me, that's the first thing they would say, is that they had to babysit for me.
What is the worst or weirdest thing that your mother-in-law has ever done to you? So after college, one of my good friends moved to her boyfriend's hometown to live with him for the first time, and they were really close to his family, both literally and geographically, and really far from her family. They moved into a really small apartment, so she got a storage unit to put most of her things. Her father passed away when she was growing up, so a lot of the items in the storage unit were sentimental because they belonged to him, so they were completely unreplaceable. So a few months in, my friend goes to her storage unit to get some things, and when she gets there, she sees that every single item in her storage unit, every single thing is missing. Why? Because her boyfriend had given a key to his mom, but nothing in the storage unit, nothing had belonged to him. Every single thing belonged to the girlfriend. And the girlfriend, by the way, was the only one paying for the storage unit. She was also paying for their apartment. So why was everything gone? Because his mother took that key, opened up the storage unit, and hosted a yard sale in the storage unit and sold everything. So when my friend was obviously upset, her boyfriend gaslighted her like crazy, trying to make her feel bad for him. And somehow it worked. The craziest thing, y'all, is they didn't break up because of that. How many other people here had a really weird bridal shower experience because of their in-laws or their own family? I did. First, I'll say that my sister-in-law is amazing and I got really lucky with her and she threw me the best shower ever. However, my mother-in-law also wanted to throw me a shower. I'm from Charleston, South Carolina, and that's where I was living at the time when I was engaged. Now, my husband's family and my extended family all happen to be from the Philadelphia area. My aunt, who's my mother's sister, wanted to throw me a shower that was in the same weekend of my sister-in-law's shower. So we just decided to double up the visits. And my mother-in-law wanted to throw me a shower that same weekend as well at her house. So my mother and I would be flying up to Pennsylvania and we'd go to 3 showers in one weekend. The bridal shower with my mother's family was absolutely insane, but I will tell you about that later. There was way too much drama behind that. The weirdest part about my mother-in-law's bridal shower for me is that when I got up to Pennsylvania, she said, sorry, I didn't get it together in time, so I actually can't throw a shower right now. But she also pretended she couldn't find my registry anyway, because I go by the name Eby, and she wanted me to change that after I got married, and she acted like she didn't understand how to search my husband and I's name on Target's registry. It was messy for no reason. Like, we even had a wedding website that was super easy that had links to everything, but she decided that that was too much for her, so she told everyone to just bring us cookbooks instead. But, it didn't really matter because that shower wasn't happening anyway. So I thought. One day I'm laying in bed, it was like early morning, and I think I had just showered, so I was completely, not ready to be FaceTiming anyone when I started to get a FaceTime call from my mother-in-law. Did I answer it? Absolutely not. Turns out that FaceTime call was because she was actually having the bridal shower at her house without me. And she wanted to FaceTime me so I could look at all the ladies and they showed me the cookbooks that they were giving me. But these are people I had never met before and I had no heads up. Why do weddings bring out the weirdest sides of people sometimes?
There is such a huge difference between your daughter-in-law having boundaries and your daughter-in-law being controlled.
My boyfriend's mom has not seen my almost 2-year-old daughter since she was like 4 or 5 months old, and I'm currently 30 weeks pregnant with another girl who she probably won't see. We did reach out and tell her that I'm pregnant again, and after we had been no contact for a while because I wanted to give her the chance to, come back in our lives. The issue wasn't necessarily with her at first. It was with her husband of like 5 years, not my boyfriend's father. He had always been around when we were changing my daughter's diaper, and I noticed it very early on, and I had brought it up to my boyfriend, but he was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, like it's just a coincidence, like don't immediately jump to those conclusions. The last time we saw them, we'd had an incident that resulted in us setting a very simple boundary. And once we saw their reaction to that boundary, we realized they weren't going to respect it. So we just said, okay, we're just not gonna go to y'all's house anymore, but y'all are more than welcome at our house anytime you want to see the baby. They chose to go no contact. We haven't seen them since. I've tried to send her pictures of my daughter since then, and she has me blocked. So nothing more. I feel like there's nothing more I can do. Let me know if you think anything different.
This one's for the dudes. Here's 3 things you shouldn't be letting your mother do to your wife or partner. Number 1 is saying negative things about her. Whether your wife is there or not, your mother shouldn't be talking smack about her. That's a partner you've chosen, and any disrespect shown towards her is disrespect shown towards you. Number 2 is shunning her, trying to make her feel unwelcome or like an outsider. She can do that by not inviting your wife to family events, giving her out of family photos. Make it clear to your mother you and your partner come as a package deal. It's both of you or none of you. Number 3 is trying to control your marriage. What you and your partner do with your house, finances, kids, career is between you and your partner alone, not your mum. In fact, she doesn't even need to be giving her input unless you have asked her first, or at the very least, she has asked you. Listen, it is complicated enough trying to compromise with another person that you're living with. Don't allow your mother to get involved, creating more chaos and stress that you don't need.
My goodness, the time has come. Part 4, Toxic Family Math, Mother-in-Law Edition. Let's get into it. Toxic mother-in-law math, when she critiques you, a new mother, about what you could be doing better when you literally live with the product of her mothering and it ain't been the easiest road, if you know what I'm saying. Toxic mother-in-law math is being emotionally incestful and codependent on her son, causing all these mother wounds that you as a wife have had to heal, and now that he enforces boundaries, you must have changed him and or are keeping him away. Toxic mother-in-law math is constantly bad-mouthing you in front of your children and still expecting access to them because she grandma. Toxic mother-in-law math is bad-mouthing you to all your sibling in-laws and then calling you stuck up because you never want to come around. And why would you? You're entitled to not want to be around people that talk shit about you all the time.
Ladies, if you have a challenging relationship with your mother-in-law, this message is for you. First thing I'll say is you don't have a mother-in-law problem, you have a marriage problem. And here's what I mean. It is the husband's responsibility to step up and lead and establish the boundaries surrounding his family, not his family of origin. For when a husband decides to get married, the dynamic in the relationship that he has with his family of origin must change. I'm going to reference an ancient scripture here. It's called leave and cleave. What does it mean? It means that when a husband takes his wife, he leaves his family of origin and cleaves to his wife. And the relationship that he has with his mother and father and family of origin forever changes. That relationship shifts and alters. It doesn't mean it goes away, but it must change. For when a man chooses his wife, he now prioritizes her over anyone else outside of himself. This can be incredibly jarring, most especially to his mother, and perhaps with his father and his siblings. It is a husband's responsibility to establish his new family while maintaining a new relationship with his family of origin. And in order for a man to be able to do all of this, he must know who he is. He must be doing his inner work and growth and transformation, essentially building the most strong boundaries around him and his wife and his family. That is the challenge. The wives out there, if you're having struggles with a mother-in-law butting into your family, dismissing boundaries that you want to establish around your family, around your husband, it's time to have a conversation with your husband. If you're looking for more support in the area of boundaries, drop a comment below or jump into our Healing with Healthy Boundaries course, and you can access that through my profile.